And on your election headquarters, Ghana's Electoral Commission has in a 31-page written legal argument urged the Apex Court to back its decision to exclude the current voter's ID card as proof of identification for prospective voters. The Commission argues the existing voter's ID card was acquired by some Ghanaians in a manner that breached various laws. The Commission, in its legal argument, described the card as fruit of a poison tree. It therefore says excluding it will afford the Commission an opportunity to break from the past and remedy all the carried-on illegibilities. Now, our court correspondent, Joseph Akable, joins us via Zoom for more on this. Joseph, what arguments did the EC file?
So the EC makes a number of very interesting points, as well as quite some admissions that would be quite worrying. The first that we have to speak about has to do with the 2016 order that the Supreme Court gave, if you recall, the one that had to do with the persons who used the National Health Insurance card to get onto the voters register. The Electoral Commission, you recall back then, the Supreme Court did order that it should remove all such persons from the electoral roll. The Electoral Commission, led by Charlotte Osei, did inform us that some 56,000 individuals had been removed. The Electoral Commission, in its legal arguments to the court, is admitting today that it has not been able to comply fully with that directive. The reason being that there are some individuals who, once they registered, the Commission did not indicate on the form the means of identification that they used. And so the Commission says it begs is to assume that there could be perhaps individuals who did not have the required documents and actually use the NHIA card that are still on the voters register. And so such persons actually have the existing voters ID card. And so if you were to use the existing voters ID card to register, you may end up having such individuals being on the electoral roll still. And so that is one point that the Commission makes. The other point the Commission makes relates to the CI-12 and CI-72. The CI-12 was what was used for the registration of voters in 1995. The Electoral Commission says the requirements then did not have documents that required citizens to show that they come with documents that show that they are indeed Ghanaians and they are of 18 years of age. But it says such people were able to get onto the electoral roll and have since then been using existing voters ID card to register every time the Electoral Commission opens for new registration. It then makes the point that with regards to CI-72, they've studied the Electoral Commission's manual that is issued to its officers to compile a new register, and it realized that contrary to law, it allowed persons who have baptismal certificates, which does not prove, they say, citizenship or one being 18 years of age, to use that document to again register and get onto the electoral roll. And so the Electoral Commission says the existing voters ID card, in simple terms, is a poison fruit, and compiling a new voters register and not using it will allow the Electoral Commission to start on a clean slate, and this time around get only credible persons who are 18 years of age and who are Ghanaians onto the electoral register.
What has been the response of the Apex Court?
And so this is in response to the Apex Court directive on June 4, asking the Commission to, by June 8, file this legal argument. We understand that between now and June 11, the NDC, that is a part to this particular case, have the option of responding to this legal argument on points of law if they find it necessary. Once they do that on June 11, we understand that the Supreme Court will either give a ruling or give some direction as to the next line of action in relation to this particular case.
I'm grateful for your time. Joseph Akable is our correspondent at the court, and he's been explaining the argument by the EC to exclude the existing voters' ID from registration. We'll take a break on Joy News Prime. When we come back, there is more in your election headquarters.